Welcome to the channel again. Today's topic is a very common one and known to many of us in different forms. Today we are going to discuss about novels, and not only the novels, about its classifications. So different kinds of novels, the names and their characteristic features. Now, what is a novel? Before going deep into the classification, we have to understand what is novel. And there are obviously certain characteristic features too of a novel, like extended fictional prose narrative about realistic prose and characters. It is a representation of life, experience, and learning. Action, discovery, and descriptions are important elements. And finally, most important tends to be one or more characters, how they grow, learn, find, or don't grow, learn, or find. So in a novel, we are going to get all of these characteristic features. Specifically, it is a prose narrative about realistic prose and characters, the characters that we find usually in our daily lives, in our ordinary or extraordinary lives. Representation of life, experience, and learning. It is obvious, it is natural, because the representation of life that we are getting in different novels are nothing but the experience and learning that we gather. Finally, action, discovery, and descriptions are important elements, as we can understand, and it is about a character's growth. So there are lots of novels from Dickens to even J.K. Rowling. So there are lots of novels have been created in this whole world. Now we are going to move to the classifications indeed. Now let us understand the types of novels. There are various types of novels. We have gathered here almost 28 novels, and about them there are lots of novels, the names of the novels, like autobiographical novels, adventure novels, Bildungsroman, campus, Christian, detective, dystopian, existentialist, gothic, graphic, or historical, hypertext, interactive, etc. Novel of manners, novel of protest, pulp fiction, religion novels, sentimental novels, utopian, dystopian, verse novels, science fiction. There are lots of novels. Still, there are a lot left, but I have gathered according to the alphabetical order. Interestingly, because we cannot complete this whole 28 novels in one single video, therefore I have limited only to the 5 novels to discuss here, because and you will feel boredom throughout the discussion. Now let us move to the first one, the autobiographical novel. As the name suggests, we can understand that it is related to one autobiography, however, based on the author's life experience. Remembrance is easier than creation from such. So if you can remember something and you can bring back in your memory into your pages, then it will be easier for you rather than searching for something. The author does not ask the reader to expect the text to fulfill the autobiographical pact. Names and locations are often changed and events are recreated to make them more dramatic, but the story still bears the close resemblance to that of the author's life. Definitely names and locations are changed, because in an autobiographical novel you cannot expect the real names, because simultaneously you have to remember that you need to create something different. It is not just autobiographical factors or pact or elements that are simply given in a novel. You have to make it interesting, and therefore names and locations are often changed. Events are recreated in the same fashion because of the same reason. While the events of the author's life are recounted, there is no pretense of exact truth. Events may be exaggerated or altered for artistic or thematic purposes. Now, there are events, they may be exaggerated, maybe in an overstated way they are said. So when they are said, we have to remember, we means the readers have to remember that they are done simply because to make the novel interesting, first of all, and secondly, it is for the sake of the artistic and thematic purposes. There are lots of examples of autobiographical novels. I have collected these from Wikipedia, definitely, and the dates, publication dates, are also mentioned on the right side. So from Dickens's David Copperfield Great Expectation to Ernest Hemingway's A Farewell to Arms, you can get a lot more examples still in the internet in various other sources. So this is basically an autobiographical novel. On the left side, you have the characteristic features. On the right side, you have the examples. Moving on to the next one, the adventure novels. Again, from the name suggests, there is an adventure, or there has to be adventure or adventures. Exciting events are more important than character development and theme. Adventure fiction often overlaps with other genres, probably war novels, crime novels, sea stories, Robinsonites, spy stories, etc., as in the works of John Buchan, Eric Ambler, Ian Fleming's James Bond, as we all know. Science fiction, fantasy, Robert E. Howard Jr., J.R.R. Tolkien, both combined a secondary world story with the adventure novel and westerns. So in an adventure novel, you are going to get thrill, adventure, excitement, basically. So on the right side, you have these examples. I know you know better examples, but still, for the sake of adventure novels, for the sake of learning or understanding this particular novel, I have given you 3 examples, like Haggart's King Solomon's Mines, Baroness O'Crazy's The Scarlet Pimpernel, Alexander Dumas' The Three Musketeers, The Count of Monte Cristo, etc. Even if you have seen these movie versions, they are also very interesting, just like the original novels. But I prefer to read novels rather than to go to the movies. Moving on to the next one is Bildungsroman. The name itself is interesting, but what does actually it mean? A literary genre that focuses on the psychological and moral growth of protagonists from the childhood to adulthood, coming of age, that means, in which character change is important. The term comes from the German words Bildung, means education, and Roman means novel. So in a very loose translation, we can understand Bildungsroman as educational novel, where there is an education of the character building from his childhood or her childhood to his or her adulthood. Thus, it is called educational novel because there is a lot of education involved into it. Examples are ready. There are lots of examples that I have collected so far. So, Memories of a Woman Pleasure, Fanning Hill by John Cleland, The History of Tom Jones, A Foundling by Henry Fielding, The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy, Gentleman by Lawrence Sterne, etc. David Copperfield, Sons and Lovers, Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, The Kaitrana. There are lots of examples. These examples you can get from Wikipedia and other internet sources too. Significant point is that in a Bildungsroman, you have this part of education through a character. So pick one particular novel, read it, and you can understand what does the term Bildungsroman mean literally. To the next is campus novel. Campus novel suggests, you see, there is an involvement of campus definitely in this campus novel. Indeed, a campus novel, also known as academic novel, is a novel whose main action is set in the and around the campus of a university, just as I said. It highlights the follies of academic life. The genre in its current form dates back to the early 1950s. The Groups of Academia by Mary McCarthy, published in 1952, is often quoted as the earliest example of the type of novel. Although leaving the Groups of Academia by Mary McCarthy, there are a lot of examples also about the campus novels. You have these examples on the right side of the screen. The Masters by C.P. Snow is a very good example and a very notable example. The Groups of Academia, as I mentioned, Mary McCarthy. To the Normal People by Sally Rooney. So these are the examples where you have or you can find the origin of campus, the university campus, and the related aspects, the follies of university life, basically the highlights of the follies. Those are sincerely reflected in the campus novels. The last but not the least is a Christian novel in the list, just the number 5. Christian novel, again, the very name suggests that there is an involvement of Christianity, a good deal of Christianity in it. A Christian novel is any novel that expounds and illustrates a Christian world view in its plot, its characters, or both, also seen in the Bible, or which deals with Christian themes in a positive way. The plots are sometimes directly religious and sometimes they are allegorical and religious. Now, it has to be religion because it deals with Christianity, it deals with religion, religious plot or religion. The involvement of religion must be in a Christian novel. Significantly, the examples that we find usually just Charles Shenson in his Steps, Catherine Marshall's Christie, C.S. Lewis's Perelandra, J.K. Chesterton's The Man Who Was Thursday, Baudelaire In My Father's House. These are the good examples of Christian novel where you can find simultaneously Christian themes, religious involvement, as well as very charm of a novel. So these are the 5 types of novels that I have discussed so far. The rest will be discussed in the next video. If you like this video, then I will have this courage to make another video sincerely. Now, just as I used to give you your page, in this your page, you can do what? Bring out examples of the discussed novels. I have given the novels, the examples of the novels. I have given few of the examples. You have the opportunity to bring more examples so that we all can learn together about those novels. And again, if you wish to comment on any of the novels, you are welcome to do that. So on the list of 28 novels, you have this freedom to comment on any novel. Significantly, you may comment with the examples that why this novel belongs to this part. For example, if you were saying that Great Expectations, so it belongs to which part? What kind of novel is this Great Expectation? Now just mention these ideas, mention the points that because of this reason this is called this. What will happen? This will give birth to another notion of learning. So together we can learn. Finally, thank you for watching. Keep blessing me, keep supporting me so that I can make more videos like this. Thank you and take care.